Hey guys, Lucas here from Vintage Surplus, and today we're going to go over how to paint your kit. And this is going to be just a general video on how to paint your kit, and it's going to apply to how to paint pretty much anything in a tactical realm. Rifles, rifle accessories, magazines, all your other accessories and nonsense that you got out there. If you're carrying like a sword and you want to paint it, this is kind of how to get that pattern down and what you're looking to do. Now, first off, why do you want to paint your kit? So, a lot of times it's going to apply to your solid color kit. So we got khaki here, we got some old smoke green Paraclete, it's Coyote Brown. A lot of those items, it's a solid color, and if you're going into an area that maybe Coyote Brown's good, but it's not the best, you can paint it, or if your environment is like that, you can paint it and kind of just increase the capability of that pattern or that solid color with a little bit of coloration, a little bit of camo added to there, and in general get it to work a little better. So a couple of examples before we get started. Like this is a Coyote pouch, and we'll go into how to kind of do this. But you can see I had a grid pattern on top, and it kind of breaks up like Coyote, where it's more of a camouflage type pattern on there. So this just upgrades the ability of this pouch. So a lot of times you might be able to find a pouch, maybe in Coyote, maybe in Ranger Green, maybe in tan or khaki. You can't find it in multicam, you can't find it in AOR or whatever it need be, or Marpat. Maybe it just doesn't exist in those patterns, but you really like that pouch. This is a way to make that work better with your kit, integrate better with your camouflage, or if you have a whole kit that's just solid colors, you can make that into more of a camouflage pattern that applies to your environment better than say a multicam does. So that's one way to upgrade your kit. So let's go into it. What do we need first off? First off, you need your kit. Remember, it's just like a car. When you paid off your car, you buy it in cash, it's yours now. Do whatever the fuck you want to it. So you don't have to worry about it's your stuff. Don't think of it as like, oh, it's an expensive thing. Maybe it did cost a little bit, but it's yours. It's for yours to do with as you will. So remember that when you're looking at this, and I think that's a kind of a, some people look at that and like, oh man, this cost me money. Well, it's your money, it's yours now. Do stuff with it. So yeah. So first off, what do you need? Spray paint. I go with Krylon, whatever. This is what I've always used for rifles and kit. It works. Rust-Oleum's really good too, and it comes in the colors you need. The matte camouflage colors. I got it's almost a Ranger Green, OD greenish, and then I got just a tan. Those are two colors that are great for Colorado. If you're in the plains or in the mountains, it just works great, and it's going to work great for us anywhere. So we got our spray paint. We're going to shake that up real good. And now we need, what are we going to use it to apply? I have this old sniper veil kind of thing, whatever. It's going to give me a grid pattern. It's real nice on there. And these are pretty cheap. You can use pretty much any netting you get from the hardware store. This is where you get really into how much of a pattern do you want. Do you want it to be smaller print, larger print? Do you want it to be more rectangular, more diamond, whatever it need to be? So you can choose there with your material. You get these something similar at the hardware store at the end of the day. Like old laundry bags can do the thing. And then another example we'll show off too is this is just a piece of netting, camo netting that I've got, and this gives another shape, whole different kind of pattern that you can use. And I'll show two examples before we get too far into it, of what these kind of look like once we start doing it all. So now we got our materials, got our kit we're going to do. We'll go into kind of how we're going to do this. So what we're looking at right here is two different patterns that we can kind of look at for what materials I showed. So this netting and this camo net. Now I use both colors. You can see I have a good base of the green, and then one overlaid it with the tan. And then here, this turned out really cool, real leafy, very natural looking into my eyes at least, which is nice because if you ever camo doesn't make you invisible, it just helps break up your outline. So remember that. When you're doing this, you're not making yourself visible, you're just breaking up your outline. Breaking up that natural body shape, because your torso and your head are stupidly recognizable to the human eye, and especially movement. So yeah, so not going into too much theory of camouflage. But let's get started. So we'll do this tap. We'll got a big pouch here, and we'll do this Ranger Green, smoke green pouch here just to show as well. So for hook and loop, if you're going to do a lot of stuff with all the hook and loop exposed, you might want to cover it or just do a really light coat where it comes on contact with the hook and loop as far as the paint goes, because it can affect the just functionality of the Velcro hook and loop, whatever you want to call it. So if it's a lot of exposed surface on that, cover it up, order really light coats on that, tape over it for the main part of it, and just go over really lightly afterwards. So, alright, let's get this out of the way and cover it with our netting real quick. So the netting, you know, when you keep it on there, you don't want too much of a space because again, your spray paint's got to get through it. And once it gets through it, it's going to be on there, obviously, blah, blah, but you don't want it like a foot above it spray painting through, because then you'll just diffuse all the spray paint coming through it and nothing will happen. So get it on top, get these old spots unfolded, got it there. Okay, now I'm going to go over with the Ranger Green first, or the OD green color. This can's giving me trouble, so bear with me. I go a few inches away from the net, not much at all as far as distance, because this netting is going to catch a lot of it and diffuse a lot of it. Okay, so let's see what that did, and we'll go from there. So, got a pretty good base down. You can see right here where I went real heavy. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad right here. I definitely got a grid, and it came through some spots where it kind of got a little bit in the grid and kind of fuzzed it out, but not too bad. On here I didn't go too heavy. You can see it's nothing too crazy on the khaki, and obviously didn't do anything to the smoke green. But on the tap itself, you can see it's starting to do something. So let's go from there. We'll do a coat of tan and see what that looks like. Same kind of deal. Pan out. This can works a lot better than the Ranger Green did. Now you can go stripes, you can go like full on. Okay, so you can see this kind of got on there. Sit a little further away on that one, but my Coyote, definitely when it hit the green, you can see it popping a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but it definitely lends itself to breaking up that solid color a lot better. And you can see it on the smoke green pouch. Again, I didn't hold it too close. Let's see what happens when I hold it a little closer. And then kind of just beat down with that tan. On the smoke green, okay, so you can see that now better. Again, it's more, you know, it's gridded. I could angle this more. I could go more in stripes and or blotch it more and really get that camo kind of effect down there. So let's do that to the tap right here. We'll kind of blotch it off and see what some heavy blotches do. And intermix some more green in there with this really shitty can. Let's see what that did for us. So, again, this looks pretty nice. I like how that looks. You know, wouldn't really complain about that on my kit. This is looking pretty good so far. Again, where I blotched it right here, it's giving that more of a pattern that's intermixed together. So it's starting to blend real well. And you know, you go heart's content at the end of the day with this. So, you know, unfortunately with, you know, going on to fabric, you can't really restart. You can't really just wipe it off and restart. So, you know, once you start, you're kind of doing it. I recommend testing on some cardboard beforehand. Get an idea what it's going to look like. Is that going to work for you? If it doesn't work for you, you can try stencils. Online, you can find stencils you can download and then cut out on paper, and you know, have a more legitimate camouflage pattern and go in layers that way. But this works for me. You know, at the end of the day, it's breaking up that solid color. Once this paint dries out, it's going to darken up a little bit. It won't be so bright, and then once I use it, it's going to take on some of that, you know, natural environment to it. So the dirt's going to get in that paint. It's going to fade some more. It's going to wear in some more, and it's going to become much more natural on the fabric itself. At first, it will be pretty stiff. So yeah, so that's the general how to paint it. How it's going to turn out. So you have khaki, kind of the same thing. If you like last week, haven't used it, but it's, you know, did the same thing. So you can see how it turns out there. On a magazine, same kind of thing. Again, that coyote brown pouch right here. This, you know, just bare tan, see, bare khaki, so you can see that big difference right there on how it looks. Just, you know, with the one good coat on there, it really does change the whole appearance of the pouch. Now, as far as when it comes to spray painting a camouflage pattern, you know, is that something that's necessary? Sometimes it is. So this is AOR 1, and you kind of run the same issue if you're able to come across like a desert marpat, or even multicam arid and those kind of patterns, 3-colored desert, stuff like that. When it's brand new, it's really bright, and if you don't have the time to really break in that pouch or uniform, whatever it is, in that camo pattern, this is a good way to break it in and darken it up a little bit. And over use, this will start to wear off, and it'll bring back that pattern more. But I will say in AOR 1, I've come across a buttload of stuff that was previously issued and worn and used that has been darkened up. So it is something to consider, that this is a very bright camo when it's brand new, that darkening it up is a legitimate thing you need to do at the end of the day. That sometimes just you don't have enough time to use it to really break it in. So painting is an option to get that worn in. Last thing that some people are going to ask is, what does this do to night vision capability? So all these fabrics, as they are mil spec, are night vision, near IR kind of compliant. We're not going to glow in the dark at the end of the day. And does the paint affect that night vision under IR when you're seeing them? These paints from Krylon and Rust-Oleum, under my experience and talking to other people, it doesn't really make it glow. It might make it a little brighter at night, but not in a significant amount of, not in a significant amount. If you think about it, too, if you're really skeptical of that, there have been a mass amount of painted rifles in military service using this exact type of paints, and they're doing military service to this day. We did several mod deployments. Well, my first deployment, we had all of our rifles painted, and then we kept them painted throughout the next 2 at the end of the day. And it doesn't affect that IR capability. Not that the bad guys over there were really using night vision, but they did have it. So at the end of the day, it's not going to affect our night vision. But there's a basic how-to on painting your gear. This is going to apply to rifles, other kit, accessories, anything you can really think of. This is a general how-to paint your gear. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, concerns, critiques, bash my painting skills, go right ahead in the comments below. Let us know if you've done this before too. This is definitely something that a lot of people do, a lot of people don't do. Some people really dabble in it. Just let me know what your experience with it is. If you're going to try it out, how it turns out for you. And if you need pouches to do it on, head on adventuresurplus.com.